Welcome to the Gaslighters Podcast, episode 4. We are rolling right along here. We appreciate you joining us every week as we take a look at Red Raider men's basketball. Clint Scott, Chois Woodman this week. Mr. Basketball here, as always. The best part of the trio when they sit at this table. He is partially flat. Choice, since you and Rob last spoke, the Red Raiders have played 3 games. They went 2-1.
True.
Part of that was the Legends Classic where you fall to St. Joseph's and then you bounce back and beat Syracuse. All sorts of stuff to dive into. It is feast week in the world of college basketball.
Mm-hmm.
You're not, well, I guess the way that they do it now, it's feast week really is like feast week and a half.
Right.
And the Legends Classic was kind of the starting portion of that, you and a couple other classics and tournaments. First of all, where does feast week rank for your sporting watchage?
It is not ahead of any sort of Thanksgiving football. It's not that high on the list. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's college basketball and good college basketball, so I'll watch it more than any sort of NBA Cup action or anything like that.
Wow.
But
That's
I
a
still,
made-up thing.
I still have not figured that out. But it's okay. Usually I'm watching because Tech is involved in some sort of multi-team event. You were supposed to have a big game with Feast Week, but you don't have a big game. Instead, you're playing Northern Colorado.
Don't disrespect Northern Colorado.
The Bears. But you were supposed to play a huge game, and it was supposed to impact your football attendance for the weekend as well.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, but the Aggies, the spineless Aggies that they are, and normally what they do is back out of things, and they back out. Yes, we can call it rescheduling and moving games around because you did move it around, and you'll end up playing the Aggies next week. But you still were supposed to have this game on campus, and it was having an impact on your entire Thanksgiving schedule, and I think there would have been a lot of people that were going to handle it using baskall as an excuse to come for football or vice versa.
Oh, yeah, jam-packed weekend.
Yeah, so
And you can still go out and watch the game. It's just when you're going Texas A&M,
Yeah.
the USA. All disrespect Northern Colorado. Northern Colorado.
yeah, you already said that too. No, but yeah, I think so. That's frustrating because you're going to play this game on campus next year or the year after. I can't remember what the home and home who's first, but
that is the important thing is you still do have a home and home with them.
Right.
But
the overall impact is very frustrating for your athletics department. And I was excited to see what you looked like on a Friday. But yeah, it's still Feast Week still falls during football season for me.
Oh yeah, well it does for everybody schedule-wise.
Yes, don't get me wrong. But I mean, in terms of watching, don't get me wrong. I will watch games. I will take in a good portion of college basketball this week when I'm sitting around getting fat and happy on Thanksgiving food. But it's not like one of the main weeks of the year for sports watching.
I love Feast Week. Part of the reason is for a lot of these schools in the Big 12 that you're going to see here in about a month, this is our first good comparison. Because, just like you, for the most part, it's hard to judge a lot of these teams. It's hard to judge what, like, an Iowa State is going to be. It's hard to judge truly what a Colorado might be, Utah's, those sort of teams, which Colorado just got an upset win over UConn. UConn lost back-to-back. Dan Hurley is the most furious coach I've ever met.
Goodness.
He's got crazy eyes.
He does.
He's insane. He's also got championships, but he is an insane human being. But this is our first chance to kind of get a good look at these teams against better competition and start gauging of who really is going to be good in the conference, who's going to be competitive in the conference, and you're going to still see some teams drop some games in there, and then they'll probably win 10 games in the Big 12. And so it's not end-all, be-all, but you can kind of get a better feel of forming your opinion of these teams. And then also you just have really, really fun college basketball matchups. But you're obviously, like you said, in the busiest, one of the busiest sporting times of the year because you have all of these great college matchups. If you like the NBA is going. I'm just going to throw that in there. Hockey's going. But you obviously have the final week of college football.
Yeah.
Big 12 championship spots are being decided. The NFL is in the absolute nitty-gritty of their season, and with this weekend, with it being Thanksgiving, you have them playing on different days. Like you have a Chiefs-Raiders matchup on Friday, things like that. It's jam-packed in there, so you gotta find the time to make time.
And we will. I mean, made time to watch Tech in New York last week. So my question for the group, anybody in the comments or anything,
Mr. Basketball.
Mr. Basketball, what do we learn from New York? What do we learn about Texas Tech from New York?
Well, Choice. You want him to answer?
I'm good.
Okay.
I think we're okay.
Shut up, Mr. Basketball.
Goodness.
What we learned in New York is JT Toppin and Darian Williams are really good at playing the sport of basketball.
They are.
I think that they are your catalysts this year. I think Elijah Hawkins can be that. I think he's still shaking off, to me, a little bit of rust.
Yeah.
You've seen a lot of positives at him, don't get me wrong. I think this team has plenty to work on defensively. I also think that you will be a really good outside shooting team, but I think that you can't have, especially going back to the loss against St. Joseph's, you can't have some of the shot selection that you had there. It's not just that you were missing, I've seen a lot of you lost that game because St. Joe's was hitting threes and you weren't. And it's true to an extent, but you also look at why. Yes, shots were falling for St. Joseph's from the outside. I don't think your first half perimeter defense helped. No. They had a lot of open looks. No. And on the other side, you shot a lot of threes in the first half, 10 or 11, and you were 1 for whatever that number ended
11.
up being. And I don't think you always put yourself in a good position to make a three. It just felt like at times you got stagnant and then just said, here's a shot. And that's not how a fluid offense should work. And we've already seen it, that you can be a fluid offense. So I think that I've learned that you can be a good shooting team, but just like anybody in college basketball, if you're forcing it, you're not going to be good from outside.
Right, and I think that was one of the things I said going in, is that I felt like you were a good, really great shooting team going into New York, but it didn't feel like you were reliant on the three ball. Mm-hmm. That was complete opposite in that St. Joseph's game, is you were reliant on the three ball and forced the issue a few too many times. But I think you saw an improvement. Even though you shot more three-pointers in the game against Syracuse, there were more quality shots that went up. So I agree with everything you said there. I think we also learned that Darian Williams he's your guy. JT Toppin, no doubt, maybe your best player and is by far one of your most talented players, if not the most talented player on this team. But this is Darian Williams' team. And I think we saw that in the waning moments of the St. Joseph's game, even though that shot doesn't fall. I think that was one of my questions coming into the year is, okay, who's going to have the ball in their hands when you get in crunch time situations? Is it Darian Williams? Is it Elijah Hawkins? Is it Chance McMillan? But I think most times this year when you get in those late game situations, you're putting the ball in number 5's hands, and I'm going to trust him to make that exact shot that he missed more often than not, and I think you do. So you just came up short on that one. So I walk away from Brooklyn not feeling a whole lot different than I did going in. That you're still a very, very good basketball team, and Texas Tech's going to compete in the Big 12 title hunt.
Yeah, and I think I walked away going, I'm glad you obviously beat Syracuse. I'm more glad that you didn't lose to Eddie Lampkin, because I just couldn't have mentally handled that.
That guy.
No, I think the St. Joe's loss was clearly disappointing, but it hasn't broken anything. I do think it put a little extra stress for you to win that second one, even though I still thought you'd go beat Syracuse, and you went and you did take care of business. I do think it also puts a little extra stress when you do eventually see Texas A&M here in a couple of weeks. And as you mentioned, Texas A&M was supposed to be on the schedule on Friday, and what happened? What did they back out for?
Yeah.
Well, welcome to the new world of college basketball, where now you have NIL-based tournaments. And I don't like that Texas A&M backed out either, although I will say this. If the roles had been reversed and it was Texas Tech's program that was invited, I would have wanted you to do the same thing. And here's why. I think that's a great recruiting tool. If you are a college basketball player and you're looking at where do I want to go? Do I want to go to the ones that are going to give me some of these opportunities?
Yeah.
Or do I want to go to the one that said like, oh, no, I don't want to? And I know that there's a commitment thing and the honor system, things like that. This is all new. I am glad, I'll say, like I said, I'll give them credit that they still worked out and said we will have the home and home. It doesn't make the situation, though, any less frustrating with what it means for the whole weekend.
Sure.
But when you look at these NIL-based tournaments and these just a new way to get money in the pockets of these players, is that something that you would want Texas Tech's team to be eyeing around for?
If you were in that situation, yes. If you had an opening, and this is going to sound bad, like I'm disrespecting smaller teams. If you got an opening against the Northern Colorado...
Welcome to the Disrespect Northern Colorado podcast.
If you got a game against Northern Colorado...
Take Northern Colorado and launch them.
We're going to need that back. If you got a game against whomever, Sisters of the Poor, as Chuck likes to say, or Brooklyn, or you got a game against a Northern Illinois team or something like that, or some team I don't even know exists, like we have sometimes in college basketball, then yeah, I'm okay with backing out of it. When you've got these Power 5 matchups in your non-conference are rare things, and Power 5 on campus is even more rare. So, no, I would not want Tech to do it at that expense. That being said, I think this is a one-year thing, Clint. I think as we continue to hear more and more about revenue sharing and
that's a good point
in sports, you probably credit A&M for taking advantage, and they may not have known it at the time when they took it, that this is probably going to be a one-year thing, this whole NIL tournament thing, because NIL is about to go to actual what NIL is supposed to be, and then we're going to see revenue sharing in college sports where you're not allowed to have tournaments that are NIL based or anything like that. So you ask in the future, if there was a future of it, yes, I would want to see Tech participate in it because I think it's a recruiting tool. But I don't know that there's much of a future of these NIL tournaments. Yeah,
you're right. This may turn into a retrospect question. Like if basically just during that 1 year, during that 2 seasons, whatever it may be. What a world we live in.
Strange one, man. Strange.
You getting any NIL for anything?
Am I allowed to tell?
If it's for this, I'm going to be mad. I'm having to actually pay to be here.
Oh, you are too?
Yeah.
Oh,
okay, good.
We're good.
It's just Rob that gets paid?
No. Oh, yeah, Rob gets paid, of course. No, I got a quarter the other day from my wife, but I'm not sure if we call that NIL or not. I mean, that was my allowance for spending money for the week. But
did you use it?
No.
Okay, good. Save it up. I have one last important question here. I'll give you the protein. Well, first, turkey or ham?
Generally speaking, ham.
For Thanksgiving, though, is it still ham?
It's still probably it's both. It's both.
Or you have to pick one for the plate.
Who says I got to pick one? I guess I'm going turkey at its peak. Ham has a lower floor, so if it's good turkey, good turkey.
All right, it's good turkey.
Yeah.
Turkey, and you get 4 sides on a Thanksgiving plate, not counting a dessert.
Okay. I always mention this one. People don't know it because it's a family thing.
Is it bacon-wrapped asparagus?
It's bacon-wrapped green beans.
That's what it is.
It's green beans.
I knew what it was. I forgot it.
Green bean bundles, but it's bacon-wrapped green beans covered in a brown sugar glaze. I mean, there's no health left to the green beans, but it's phenomenal. That one, I think...
green bean bundles was an old high school nickname of mine.
I could definitely see that. I think you would be more of an asparagus, so. We're going... Second side is stuffing, dressing. I mean, it's dressing in our house. But absolutely, when it's done well...
Delicious.
Gotta have it. Gotta have it. Cranberry sauce. Out of a can.
Oh, just as the side?
Absolute staple for Thanksgiving. Gotta have it. You gotta slice it out of the can. So good.
You shouldn't have to slice anything out of the can.
Wait, you're not slicing the can
problem.
itself?
That's the texture problem. You shouldn't have...
Texture problem?
You shouldn't... If it comes out of a can, you shouldn't have to slice it.
And then last Thanksgiving side... Oh, did I go? I mean, there's 3 really good ones left on the
You left a
table.
lot on the table.
I mean, I left mac and cheese, I've left mashed potatoes, and I've left rolls out there.
You left green bean casserole, although you have the
Yeah, we
bundles.
already got the green bean casserole, which I do like, or green bean bundles, but I do like green bean casserole. I guess, and we're not talking dessert. I'm spending way too much time on this.
I was gonna just say you could do whatever you wanted for dessert.
Okay. I think we're going to throw in a cheesy or loaded mashed potatoes is the 4th one.
All right. Turkey is the superior meat. There can be bad turkey, but if you do it right, turkey is tremendous.
Turkey is easy to do bad, so.
It's true. You got to trust the one who's making the turkey.
Favorite way? Smoked, classic, or you going deep fried?
You know, I actually I've yet to have a deep fried turkey. It looks delicious.
It's the best way if you get it done right.
For Thanksgiving purposes, I like just classic.
Okay.
Now, that being said, if I'm at like a fair or something like that and I see a smoked turkey leg,
Turkey legs!
I've eaten a lot of smoked turkey legs in my life. Obviously. Yeah, so turkey, a lot of dark meat.
Like a smoked turkey leg.
Hey, I'll have smoked turkey legs. That's what I get sunburned. That's what they call it. A lot of dark meat on that plate. We are going stuffing.
Okay.
We are going mashed potatoes.
Okay. Good.
We're going green bean casserole.
Put way more thought into this.
And we are going mac and cheese.
Okay.
I've got some just
Also,
staples on there. You get one dessert. What are you doing?
another homemade one, but the chocolate meringue pie family recipe that is killing it. Yeah.
I'll just go classic pumpkin.
Pumpkin's good.
I usually also get a pecan pie in there as well. And sometimes you run into that, like, it's just Jell-O and Cool Whip. That's all it is.
Cool Whip.
But that's like mixed up. Tremendous. And you can eat a lot of that too. Hey, that's going to do it for us. Thank you for joining us. Happy Thanksgiving to you. Red Raiders taking on Northern Colorado. Don't you dare disrespect them. Friday night, you can hear it on Double T 97.3. For Choice, I'm Clint. We'll see you next week. Beautiful. Let's see what that looks like. Perfect.
Are we starting?
How about this first screen grab?
Who are we?
Perfect.
You're running this thing, right?
I guess.
I don't care. Either way.
You know, I used to think like this was like the coolest thing ever, and I can't even just like going like this on my wrist. Yeah, I thought that was like because I was like, oh, everyone can spin it on their finger.
Yeah, bro. But can you do this?
Yeah, see, you can't. That's hard. It's easy.
That was impressive. You like that, man. Oh, let's try
We're gonna break the studio.
Yes, we are. Okay.